So I don't suffer from this kind of pre-conference perfectionism. Kim respects me, and I'm just going to show you a whole lot of kind of really bad code, which is all on GitHub and GitLab. So the thing I proposed here, I imagined that it was going to be like 3 or 4 people in a kind of lounge environment, and maybe we'd have a beer or something, and there's a lot of you. So I just wanted to show one thing, which was to show off Ozmeka, which has everybody heard of Ozmeka? Yeah. So it's a really, really simple repository application. It comes out of the GLAM kind of environment, and I think it probably gets overlooked in some projects from the kind of hardcore repository people like you. It's very easy to get up and running, and it's very easy for people with very limited technical skill to do useful things with. So I think as an e-research manager at a university, it has a place. We should be supporting people building things with it. But we need to think that they might not last forever, and then maybe they'll be up for a couple of years. We should be thinking about how we archive them later on. Anyway, I don't want it to get overlooked, so I just wanted to have a really quick demo of how using Vagrant and modern tools you can get something up and running, and show off some really, really basic stuff we've been doing with CSV, and trying to make something which is a generic way of describing things using PCDM, the Portland Common Data Model, in a spreadsheet type of thing, and pushing it into Ozmeka. And then I added on, just because I could, doing the same thing into Fedora 4. So that's what I'm going to show you. I've got a draft blog post here. This is my beautiful blog here. And I'll post this. I haven't actually posted this. This is just the draft. So I want to show you. So this is the thing that we presented last year. It's called DAME, which is Data Hub Australian Research on Marine and Aquatic Ecocultures. Very carefully constructed acronym there. This is this is a multidisciplinary archive. It's got some social history stuff, it's got some transcripts, it's got some images, and it's linked into some kind of science as well. So this was from interviewing people, and item. So this was talking about their experience of waterways in Australia, and so there are like transcripts of this and there are images, but we've also got, this is the simplest kind of linked data, RDF type repository that I know of. So this item has these kind of relations in it, right? So you can actually have this kind of real semantic network of things. So this item is part of this collection. It was created by these people. It has this provenance information. And some of them, if I picked a better one, have item mixed things like species. So I'll try one more. So this references the Murray cod, which is a kind of fish. And we've got some information here that comes from the Atlas of Living Australia. So this is a scientific database. This research repository is a site of bringing together sort of cultural knowledge and scientific knowledge. And we can glue these things together using RDF. So this was the project that we did. I'm just going to show you some really simple tooling we developed as part of that. Let's okay, so I've got instructions for this blog post about how to actually do the whole Vagrant thing of getting a demo Ozmeka up and running. It's one of those PHP applications. It's actually not that easy to install. You have to go and do a few settings and whatever. So we've made that a bit easier for that community. And this thing installs Ozmeka plus our semantic stuff over the top. So that'll take a couple of minutes to start up, a few seconds to start up a virtual machine that's running the software. Meanwhile, making you seasick? Motion sick? Okay, so let's look at the data. So the sample data that I'm going to show comes from the State Library of New South Wales. They had an open data portal. That's a theory, so I was going to show you that. It's already. Sorry, again. Okay, so this was a really, really simple data set. It's only got a few items. Spreadsheet came off the library website, and it had some URLs in it for actual images. So what I've got here is a really kind of prototype way of turning this into a PCDM, or common data model, set of collections and items. So I had to do a bit of manipulation on the spreadsheet, but I've added double core metadata headers, so DC title, DC identifier. This thing came with identifiers, and if you don't have identifiers in the data source, you can just sort of pick a number and then fill down in the spreadsheet to get some identifiers. And it only had the maps, the images in it, but I actually noticed that they were all by a few people, so I created new rows for the people. So this actually has in it a whole repository's worth of data. It's a small repository. The first couple of rows are collections, so their type is PCDM collection, and they have an identifier. So one collection is called people and one collection is called maps, and they have titles. Then there's a bunch of images, still images that are maps with IDs and titles and URLs. And then I pulled out the people that were mentioned in this and made them items as well. And then did relationships between them somewhere. To create a relationship. Anyway, look. So is this making sense? I've taken something and I've added some like the actual double core and stuff across the top of it, but it's just something I've got on the website. Now, with this thing started up, I should be able to show you an empty repository. That's the time.
About 12 minutes.
Okay, so this is an empty Ozmeka repository. Nothing in there, nothing up my sleeve. Okay. Now we will. Can you actually see this? Read this. So I'm running a script that I've got in my instructions, where to go and find this. But you do have to go and install a couple of libraries that are not released yet, so it's a little bit of a pain to run. This is running a Python script. It's got some flags here, which I can't remember what they are, but we can find out by asking the script. It's pointing at the empty repository. I had to go and get an API key, so you do have to do a little bit of kind of point and click work. Once you've actually got this running, you can go and get an API key out of it. And then I'm pointing at the sample data file that I showed you just now. And this is now loading things into that repository. So there's a couple of So as
Okay, the building's being evacuated apparently.
Thank you, Claire, for indulging me, because I wanted to show that you can shut the laptop, go outside and come back and install. It's really good code. Do that. So what we've done here, so yes, there is a CSV importer inside Ozmeka already, and I don't like it. I found it really buggy. trying to do what I'm trying to do here, which is to load up a whole lot of different things, collections and items. So you can actually populate an entire repository with this one. But if this format proves to be useful, we could actually write something that actually lives in the Ozmeka things and import stuff. So I think so there's that one. Okay. The other thing that I want to show, which is an add-on, is running the same trick into Fedora 4. So I've got here the Fedora, the really simple Fedora 4 download a jar file thing. You just double click it and run it. This one doesn't even have any authentication stuff in it, so it's good for mucking around with, but you'll not deploy it in production very soon. And you can, I've run it before, but I can actually just take its data directory and trash it, and then run it again, and it'll come up empty. It's the theory anyway. I'll run this, started on a port, it's not the same port as the other one. It takes a few seconds to start up. And here we have an empty Fedora repository. Okay, and we have a very similar spreadsheet. This one has got its information about where the service is inside a. It's really small. So that has its the address of the API endpoint inside the YAML file. And I'll just run this. So this is taking. I think it actually might be a slightly different spreadsheet because it's in a different library as a test file, but more or less the same thing. And is putting that into something that works. So that's pushing that theoretically. That's going to put that into the Fedora repository. If I made a mistake. That's it, port 8.
Check your G40 might be number at the beginning.
Is that?
And then the console launcher.
Yeah.
When you launched it.
Yeah.
And see it looks like you might have.
Let's just trash it. Try one more time. Hold your breath. It was running, right? It was actually working. I changed the code so that it does logging, but I don't understand how logging works, so it's logging somewhere which I can't see. Yeah, no, but like I was trying to do the logging where I told it to log to the screen, but I did try and tidy it up and take all the print statements out, so that I didn't look like a complete amateur. But then I couldn't figure out how to make the logging actually come out on the console. So it's running and it's populating the repository, as we can see here. And so this is the same, exactly the same data loaded into Fedora, and using PCDM, which I might have got wrong. what are we looking at? An object. So it should be in a collection, right? A member of the, okay, so this is a member of the maps collection. And as we run this, this maps collection will get more and more maps added to it, because as it finds them in the spreadsheet, it adds the things in the Fedora and it adds extra tools into here. So why am I showing you this stuff? I think that we really want to kind of get an ecosystem of services that can talk to each other and be able to take a typical Ozmeka repository, which is usually not very complicated. You can probably fit most of them back into a CSV file if you export them, and we might just archive that. Or we might want to push it into a Fedora repository and run other services over the top of it. We could certainly solver index it and add it to Kim and Co's discovery layout stuff. And I'm kind of interested in the potential of PCDM as a way of kind of being able to reliably set people up with a research project and then be able to do something sensible with the results of what they've done afterwards in a kind of, because we've got a standard for how we look after their data. So that was my quick demo. I will post this to my blog, but you'd want to be pretty brave to try and run it. If you are interested, just contact me.